In this video series, we're going to show you some of the interesting things you can do using the TikZ package. We're going to be using ShareLaTeX as our LaTeX editor, but you could follow along with whichever LaTeX editor you feel most confident with. The TikZ package is a package that allows you to draw high quality and often quite complex diagrams. In this video, we're going to show you some of the basics and show you how to draw simple shapes and lines. To get started with TikZ, we need to load up the TikZ package. Now, whenever we want to create a TikZ diagram, we need to use the TikZ picture environment. One of the simplest and most commonly used commands in TikZ is the draw command. To draw a straight line, we use this command, then we enter a starting coordinate, followed by 2 dashes before the ending coordinate. We then finish the statement by closing it with a semicolon. We can then add more coordinates in like this to make it a square. However, this isn't particularly good style. As we are drawing a line that ends up in the same place we started, it is better to finish the statement with the keyword cycle rather than the last coordinate. To simplify this code further, we can use the rectangle keyword after the starting coordinate and then follow it with the coordinate of the corner diagonally opposite. We can also add lines that aren't straight. For example, this is how we draw a parabola. To add a curved line, we use control points. We begin with our starting coordinate, then use 2 dots followed by the keyword controls, and then the coordinates of our control points, separated by an and. Then after 2 more dots, we have the final point. These control points act like magnets, attracting the line in their direction. We can then add a circle like this. The first coordinate is the circle's center, and the length in brackets at the end is the circle's radius. This is how we draw an ellipse. This time the lengths in the brackets separated by an and are the x direction radius and the y direction radius respectively. And this is how we draw an arc. In the final bracket we enter the starting angle, the ending angle and the radius. This time they are separated by colons. To customize the way these lines are drawn, we add extra arguments into the draw command. For example, we can edit the circle so that the line is red, thick, and dashed. Very often when drawing diagrams, we will want to draw a grid. To do this, we use the draw command, followed by some additional arguments. For example, we specify the grid step size using step equals and a length. We've also specified the color grey and told it to make the lines very thin. After these arguments, we enter the coordinates of the bottom left corner, followed by the keyword grid, and then the coordinates of the top right corner. If we want to remove the outer lines around this grid, we crop the size slightly like this. Now let's add a shape onto our grid and colour it in. To do this, we use the fill command instead of the draw command. Then in the square brackets we enter a colour. For example, this specifies a colour that is 40% blue mixed with 60% white. Then we just specify a rectangle as we would normally. If we wanted to add a border around this shape, we could change it to the fill draw command and then alter the arguments so that we have both a fill colour and a draw colour specified. If instead of one solid colour we want a colour gradient, we could change it to the shade command. Then in the square brackets we specify a left colour and a right colour. Instead of doing it from left to right, we could do it from top to bottom. Or we could even change it by specifying an inner and outer color like this. Finally, we could also add a border to this by using the shade draw command and adding a draw color. Let's finish this video by adding some labelled axes to our grid. To do this, we draw two normal lines, both from 0, 0, but we'll make them thick and add arrowheads using a dash and a pointed bracket. We can also label our axes using nodes. To do this, we add the keyword node into both draw statements next to the end coordinates, followed by an anchor specification in square brackets and the text in curly brackets. Every node we create in TikZ has a number of anchors. So when we specify the northwest anchor for the x-axis node, we are telling TikZ to use the anchor in the top left-hand corner to anchor the node to the coordinate. To finish our axes, we can add in ticks and numbering like this. This clever piece of code uses two for each loops to systematically go along the axes, adding the ticks and numbers. In each one, the variable, x or y, takes on all of the numbers in the curly brackets, each in turn, and executes the draw command. This concludes our discussion on basic drawing in TikZ. In the next video, we'll look at exporting TikZ code from GeoGebra. Please do subscribe to our channel by clicking the on-screen link, and keep in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter, and Google+.